name is Bradley Geldenhuys. I'm CEO of GT Consult, and we do everything on the Office 365 platform. And so today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Ignite conference that happens every year. This year, I think it was in Vegas, as usual, or somewhere in America. It wrapped up recently a few weeks ago, and we've got some game-changing announcements. They wait till this time of year to do these announcements, and so they usually release everything just after Ignite. So we've had a look and we've started to test, and so we can share it with you. So today we're going to be translating those announcements into actionable strategies for you and your organization. This is about making 2026 the best year yet in terms of security, productivity, and return of investment with your MS365 licensing. In terms of housekeeping, we'll have a Q&A at the end, so feel free to drop any questions to the chat, and Tumi will answer them as best she can. And the bathrooms are that way. Let's go. So our first section we're going to have a look at is the Microsoft Ignite 2025 highlights. So just a quick overview of all the key announcements across the AI area, and we won't go into all AI today. We won't do that. We are going to talk about some of the cool development opportunities that are 100% driven by AI, all the security features that you can now do that also include AI, and the support area, which is driven by AI, but we're just going to touch on the AI area. And so there are 4 game-changing features that we're going to talk about that used to be paid for from third-party services that are now built into the platform, which was really cool. So we're going to deep dive into their capabilities, and we're going to see how you can manage 365 from your SharePoint Admin Agent, the Agent 365, the baseline security mode, and the security Copilot, also available in E5. You'll see a trend here. Each one of these will address real pain points that we usually hear from our clients. There's a practical implementation timeline that we'll be breaking down towards the end, and we'll show you what we think you should tackle each quarter. So you'll leave here with a clear plan to take back to your team. And then we'll have a discussion at the end, and Tumi will do her best to answer everything. So before we get started, if you go to LinkedIn and you type in Jeff Tepper, this man will show up. He is El Presidente of Microsoft 365 and the Collaborative Apps platform. If you have a look there, you'll see that he's my friend, because he's the first connection, right? And so there's a bunch of people here that will be like, oh, Brad, I can connect with anyone as well on LinkedIn. And I'd be like, maybe you can, but can you get a picture with him? So that was us at the 2024 Ignite event. I didn't go this year, but I have met Jeff, and he's a cool bloke. And so, yeah. These are the cool things that Jeff brought up in the opening keynote. One of the core messages is there's a central theme for Ignite, and it's the AI agents are becoming the new workforce. Not replacing humans, but working alongside them as governed corporate resources. And so there's a few talking points there. So we're looking at automation at scale. Microsoft is moving beyond individual AI features to enterprise-grade agent governance. So all about governance, how we're going to manage that. You've got Agent 365, gives you a single control plane for all AI agents, whether built by Microsoft, open source, or third party. So think of it as Intune for all your AI agents. You've also got security by default. So baseline security mode removes all the complexity barriers. So instead of spending weeks configuring 18 different security settings across Exchange, Teams, SharePoint, and the other identity apps, you can deploy enterprise hardening in 15 minutes with the simulation mode. We're also going to be jumping into proactive governance. So SharePoint admin agents that sit on your platform and monitor it 24/7, like a little compliance officer agent, and continuously scans your environment for inactive sites, overshared content, permission sprawl, and then automatically remediates and flags for action, as well as you can later add specific sequences so that it actually does that action. And so that addresses one of the biggest governance headaches that we see at our clients, from clients running out of space to oversharing to regulatory issues. Having this agent in the background will save some clients. And then we've got the enhanced value. I mean, my head is out at the moment. Here's the kicker. The security Copilot is now included with E5 at no extra cost. So not all of our clients are using E5, but E5 does have a lot more value than it used to have. And so it's a huge advantage to use the security Copilot because of what it can do. And so, yeah, we're going to jump into those and have a look and see what Jeff was talking about. Jeff. Cool. So the SharePoint admin agent. This is one of the areas where under AI innovation, it fundamentally changes the approach we have a look at governance. The manual SharePoint governance is simply unsustainable. So your sites completely just proliferate, permissions sprawl, content goes stale. Most organizations only discover governance issues during audits or security incidents or when migrating. So IT teams spend 60 to 80% of their time managing SharePoint platform. There are also hundreds of different types of products out there to kind of help you with this. One of the areas that we help clients with, usually in the migration space, is clearing up this content before moving the content. So what does this do now? So how does this agent work? The agent has something called continuous scanning. So the agent runs continuously in the background, scanning your entire tenant, right? So not just your SharePoint platform, the entire tenant. And it's not just a scheduled job, it's just always on in the background, always watching. And it has risk detection built in. It detects patterns that indicate risks. So sites with everyone permission, so everyone's allowed on the site. If it sees something like external sharing to personal email addresses like Gmail or Hotmail sites, or if it sees inactive sites for over 6 months, but they're still accessible, it will tell you, hey, what do you want to do about these things? And over time, you can say, well, archive that site if no one's using it. If someone has access from this email address, let's remove it. If everyone's got access to this area, it goes, why? Is it something that everyone should have access to? And so you can add in something called automated actions, and that's where it gets powerful. You can configure policies around these to action that trigger automatically. So you go, cool, I've set that up already. I know what I want to do with the site that's older than 6 months. I want to archive it. I want to let someone know and I want to archive it. And that automates everything. And so it's all audited as well. So it says, hey, this is when I archived it. This is when I moved to cold storage. This is where it is. Thank you very much. What is the business impact of all of this? Well, it's 80% reduction in manual governance effort. That's huge. That's on average, that's huge. It's 60% faster at incident detection and response. And obviously you have now 24/7 compliance monitoring without adding any headcount. So you should be able to do this with your existing team. From a GT side, this is practically relevant for all of our clients. And so if you do need any help here, we can configure the policies and get this set up on your environment straight away. And so, yeah, let us know what governance framework you need, or if you just want to reduce that overhead of management in terms of governance, let us know. We can go ahead and switch this on. Any of our 18 clients will be doing this for you from next year onwards. So, yeah, it's pretty sweet. Great. So from the development point of view, we're going into something called Agent 365. And this is Microsoft's answer to the question, how do we govern AI agents at scale? And so the context is the AI agents are proliferating fast. Copilot agents, custom GPTs, third-party AI tools. Most organizations have shadow IT deployments because it's just everywhere. And so what you want to use is something called Agent 365 so that you can bring them all together and kind of manage who uses what and where and be able to see what's happening in your organization. So it's got 5 pillars to this 365 agent. First one being the registry. So a single source of truth for all agents in your estate. Automatic discovery through an agent store integration, so you can quickly see what people are deploying. And you can add quarantine capability for any unsanctioned shadow agents that you don't want people to use. So you can have some flexibility when adding items to the store. You've got access control, so every agent gets a unique ID integrated with Intra, it used to be known as Active Directory, and you can apply least privilege principles just like you can for user accounts and user policy templates for onboarding these agents. This means you can identify governance and extend that through to the AI agents and protect them from specific parts of your business, which is pretty good. Now you also have visualization, so you can see a unified dashboard showing agent usage, and you can see the data access patterns, you can see the return of investment metrics, you can have role-based reporting for IT, security, and other people in the business. And finally, you can answer the question, what value are we getting from these AI investments? Who's using it? How good is it? What are the results? All in one spot. Pretty neat. We've also got the interoperability. So agents work across Microsoft 365. They work across Dynamics. They work across pretty much every kind of platform, and they can connect through a number of these MCPs. So once you've rolled it out, you can see who's working with what, and the security around that is built in. So straight from the beginning, you can say, with the help of Microsoft Purview, and with Defender, you can say, this is what this agent has access to. This is what I want to see in terms of security around this agent, and you can lock that in from the beginning. So for us, the game changer here is like the Agent 365 is like Intune for AI agents. So any kind of AI agent that you want to deploy in your business, you want to get this set up and running, because it will immediately lock it into a registry, see what it has access to, give you the return on investment and reporting and how that agent works in your business, and you'll be able to turn it off and turn it on in one location. So if you are building any custom agents in your environment, or you want to be able to set up this registry, we can definitely help you get this going. And this is what it kind of looks like. So from the Microsoft 365 agent overview, you've got your agents analytics, so you can see how many publishers you've got available to you, and from the Microsoft organization, your organization, and other. And you can see the list of all the agents available and which ones you want to be able to be made available, if there are any requests coming from anyone in the organization. And you've got the interoperability. Well done, Bradley. You can almost say it. And this is where you go into the MCP servers. And so the MCP servers are an area where you can control different platforms. So there's a Microsoft SharePoint list MCP server, for example, which means that agent can create items in a list. And so do you want it to have access to that? Do you want to be able to do that? And here you can see all the other MCP servers that these agents can touch, which is pretty great, because the more that it has access, you can obviously see that, the more you can do, but you can also kind of dial it down and dial it up. So that's pretty cool. Very great kind of space when we're trying to add some governance and controls to these agents. That Microsoft Agent 365 really comes in clutch. So next, baseline security mode. So this was pretty cool, because this year we were looking at a number of options to kind of get our clients on 365 secure score. And we wanted to make sure we could make it super easy. So we had to look at a number of options, and we found a few third-party tools that could kind of get us there. They were a little bit, expensive in some cases a little bit complex. Whenever that happens, Microsoft usually jumps in, and they have done so here. So under the support category here, the baseline security mode is all about removing barriers to enterprise security because of the problem I just said. Hardening Microsoft 365 properly requires configuring 18 plus settings across multiple admin centers. And so when I say 18 plus settings, it's more like 180 because Carl is on the call and will probably guarantee that for me. But it's across a number of different areas, and it has a big impact whenever you want to do it. So most organizations either never do it or they misconfigure something critical and then they stop doing it. So the solution is this one-click deployment from the 365 Admin Center. It applies all the 18 secure by default settings. It does modern authentication enforcement. It removes any kind of legacy protocol items. It has macro restrictions, and it's got safe attachment policies for your mail. It does everything all at once. And you can run a simulation mode to see if it's going to break anything in your environment and which users will be affected. And so then you have clear visibility into where those legacy systems are or who you need to chat to across your environment. And so your time to value on this is literally 15 minutes. Click, run the simulation, see what happens, and then go through the checklist to work out who you need to kind of assist, and then you can roll out a plan. It's usually 3 to 4 weeks until you can get that baseline security all the way to the top. And so this is perfect for kind of getting rapid security throughout your entire organization and making sure that your Office 365 is 100% up to scratch to enterprise level. And so what's our angle in this? We can run the simulation for you. We can run the simulation, make sure that we can identify any of those legacy systems and work with you in a communicative kind of way with your users to deploy the changes that Microsoft recommend so that your Office 365 score is as high as possible. So huge value there from Microsoft out the box without adding additional software. Then we get to our security Copilot with Microsoft 365. So this is one of the areas where if you upgrade your licensing to E5, the value proposition around what Microsoft's going to give you is huge. So E5 is the top enchilada when it comes to licensing, and it probably is a little bit more expensive, but now it comes with something that might make it worth it for you. The security Copilot is now included in the Microsoft 365 E5 license, because it was before, it was a different SKU, but now it comes with it. And what does this do? What does it even mean? This is the respond to security incidents in minutes license. So what it does is any kind of conditional access policy, or if you're running any kind of logging to your SIEM and your SOC, those threats you can run playbooks on. Again, this was third-party software that now is included in a licensing SKU, which is phenomenal. And from an intelligence investigation area, you can run workflows on any of these kind of supply chain attacks or anything in your logs, where you can automate tasks and you say, stop this. So you can say, automate routine security tasks like initial triage, indicator enrichment, incident summarization. And so this frees up a SOC, so your security team. And so you can do this in a number of different ways, where you can have some AI assistance. So you can say double check to see if this is a false positive. So if someone's logging in from Joburg, but they're actually only based in Cape Town, it can say, hey, that person doesn't live in Cape Town, Joburg, they live in Cape Town. There's no way that they can be logging in from Joburg. I think we need to block that account until someone verifies that they are not traveling. And so these kind of things can all get sped up. And so that comes with the Microsoft Security Copilot with the E5 license. So yeah, I think that's a big plus. It makes a big difference. And so then already a burdened IT or security team can add those automations. Big one. So there were a few additional key updates that I just want to jump into. We got the dollar pricing here because the South African one takes a few months to come right. But from Microsoft 365 Copilot Business, the new licensing tier for organizations with fewer than 300 users, they have the same Copilot capabilities as the standard license, but priced less. And so at the moment, it's $21 per month. I think it's like 500 Rand a month for those extra ones. And so, yeah, it's perfect if you want to have everything that the enterprise level Copilot needs. But yeah, I just need to check the RAM pricing on that. But that gives you access to create agents, full enterprise understanding of all your business data. There's quite a lot included in that, which is pretty cool. And so, yeah, there's that. There's the enhanced Copilot chat value. So by March 26, users without full Copilot license will get access to Copilot Chat in their inbox, their calendar, and their Outlook. So if you're using that at the moment and you found it cool, and people without the license are getting upset with you because you have this, it will all be free by March 2026. So this means that all of these cool little neat features you can get in March next year. So you don't go for the Copilot license now if you don't need it. Wait till March. And then we've got the Teams external collaboration. So there's the Microsoft simplified the external collaboration settings into 3 clear modes. You've got open, so you've got fully permissive. You've got controlled, which is the new recommended default, which allows chats and meetings but blocks shared channels. And you've got the custom option, which is the manual configuration. This reduces the misconfiguration risk. So there was a lot of teams that were exposed externally where everyone could kind of share files and bits and pieces, which was causing a lot of havoc in the security space. The standard now is controlled and you select who you can share with. There's the Edge, which extends starting January 26 to Intune mobile application management. So it extends to devices managed by other organizations. So if you work at GT and someone gives you a login to another client's environment and it goes, you can only manage one device at a time, this allows you to log in to our client's email on your phone so that you can respond to them when you are not at your PC, because it will allow for additional devices to be managed in a different way. And so that's just a cool thing for us GT folk. You've got Defender alert control, so you can now fine tune with intra identity protection. Alerts get ingested into the Defender XDR. And the new default is high risk only, which will cut alert fatigue significantly. So most SOX teams are drowning in medium and low risk alerts that really warrant investigation. So you'll see that quite often. And so all of these alerts get eventually ignored, even the high risk. But now you can change Defender alert control to high risk only. So we only get notified when it thinks that it knows something's going wrong. And then we've got the native Outlook polling. Small but useful. You can now purpose multiple meeting times directly in the new Outlook and collect attendee preferences. So no more endless email chains. When can you arrive to this meeting and when can you go? It should be built in natively to Outlook, sent out to all participants, select when you're available, and then based on that, it will then automatically book the meeting where everybody matches. That's only been in the works for 25 years. So that's pretty cool. And so knowing all of these pretty great 2025 updates and rolling into 2026, we've put together this cool little kind of plan that we think you should implement as a business based on the free options that you already have. And obviously, if you work with us and you're an 18 client, we will help you roll these out. And so the first thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we secure and assess the current environment. So we want to deploy that baseline security mode, and we want to get that done in January, so we can use the simulation mode in December and identify what exactly we need to fix, or any legacy areas we need to touch up, or any users we need to kind of refine. And so we can do a full audit on that and give you ideas to when we can roll out the big changes there. We also can audit the current SharePoint governance, so we can turn that SharePoint agent on and understand your current state of affairs, how many sites, what permissions, sprawl looks like, and any baseline measurements to help with improvement. And then we can also map existing agent deployments. So if you are running any AI agents or chats or anything in your environment, we can inventory all of those agents for you across your entire organization. We can look at any of your custom Copilot agents and also register them to see who's using them and how much value you're actually getting from those. And just to kind of minimize any of that shadow AI. So you can't govern what you can't see. And then we're going to assess if there are any licensing gaps, if you are keen to kind of jump up from your E3 or E1 to your E5, if it makes sense, because some of those security Copilot options do make a lot of sense if you're looking at that. Then, from a Q2 perspective, you want to activate that SharePoint Admin Agent. And we've had a look at it in Q1 where we said, cool, this is running. Let's see what it does. And we're going to get those alerts. What we can then do is we can configure the policies based on your governance requirements and start with the detect and alert, where we can almost do it automatically. From the 365 framework, we can set up your agent registry and define all your control access policies and your dashboards. So what this does is whenever you add a new AI agent to your environment, it will automatically then take on any of those security policies, your governance, what it's allowed to do, what it's not allowed to do, what users are allowed access to it. And so you've got a nice onboarding for any of your AI agents that you'll definitely be using in 26. We can also enable the security Copilot for your SOC if you are using one, and so automatically pump any of your logs straight into your SOC, and we can set up that high alert so we don't have to add on every single alert. We can also roll out the Copilot business licenses for any of your smaller teams if you need us to help in that area. From Q3 to Q4, this is where we can fine-tune those agents. So there's going to be a period now where Copilot agents and those MCPs are going to give you a lot of value. And we want to identify where that value is and who's using it and what departments are using it and what departments aren't using it, so we can roll those out. And so we're going to fine-tune those agent policies from all the learnings we get from Q2, and we can revise and refine that in the 365 agent area, and we can address those edge cases. So we can look at streamlining approvals to get people more on board faster. So that could be really cool and a really great space to be in. We can obviously expand on the Copilot adoption, so make sure that now that everyone has access to it in the environment, what can they use it best for? So from March, so that's Q2, it's Q1 actually, but we need to make sure that everyone gets rolled out, people using it in the right way, they're getting the most benefit from it. And so we want to measure that return of investment. So anything that happens in the business, we want to see, are people leveraging the capabilities? Because now it is free for all the users, and we want to start to understand where we can pick up certain automations in the business and being able to use more of that. So the big area for us is automating as much as we possibly can and measuring that return of investment. We work best when we have sponsor buy-in. So anyone that is dedicated to the team, that's who we want to be working with. And we want to make sure that we are looking at training and enabling anyone on the environment. So we do have Tribe 365, who we've partnered with, and they have a number of AI training courses coming up, as well as a lot of the current available courses that I think Barrett's going to be taking our support team through the citizen development. And then for our clients, there's so many modules on there that we need to start showcasing, just so that they can get the biggest value they possibly can. So we've got some next steps. How can GT help? We've got the security assessment. So we've got a comprehensive Microsoft 365 security audit and vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. We do this for a number of clients all year round. One thing that we can help you with straight away is enabling your baseline security on M365 and doing that evaluation. Just to get you a baseline understanding of what needs to happen in your environment. So we can definitely help you with that immediately. If you need help, chat to us and we can get that going for you. We obviously have a lot of baseline security functions that we've worked through this last year. This is the best offering we've seen. There's no additional software requirement. It's a switch in Microsoft, and it will make no impact to your users once when we switch this on. Only once we implement does it make a change. And the benefits here are just massive. Getting your environment up to scratch and secure before the holidays is almost vital. We've got a lot of let's have a look here. Sorry. So yeah, governance and consulting. We can help you with your SharePoint governance frameworks. So a lot of companies and individuals are looking at creating agents to streamline, to automate, to understand data and work with it in their environments. We have to immediately set up those agents in this governance framework so that it only has access to what you need it to have access to, and the people that have access to it are the people that you want to have access to. This is not only from a governance point of view internally, this is also from a security point of view. So we definitely have to set up that agent framework where we can see exactly what's running in your environment as a baseline. So when we start rolling this out, we don't have to retrospectively do it. That's super important for everything. From a training and enablement sort of view, we're upskilling huge GT. We do have a partner that we can introduce you to that we are using ourselves. So it is important to start getting training on these initiatives. The more you train your team, the better value you're going to find from the platform. And so there are so many different modules that you want to have a look at there. Reach out to us and we can introduce you to the offerings from Tribes 365, which is a company that bring in the Microsoft MVPs of the world, and they do the training from a really good kind of practical standpoint. So really cool there. And so our focus is obviously always been the Office 365 support, development and security. And we've worked on a product called Vendify, and that's a third-party protection management tool that we've built on SharePoint, and it kind of encompasses everything that we talk about on a delivery kind of platform. It does all your governance. It automatically onboards, offboards, and takes the whole lifecycle management of vendors, and it puts everything wrapped beautifully in Office 365, where you can review it from SharePoint, you can talk to it from Teams, and you can even email it, and it can email you back. So we've built this wonderful platform of Vendify, and so what we do here at GT is we create these personal events that you can book yourself. So if you're watching this now and you haven't had a Blue Sky event with us, you can scan this QR code and book an event with us. Anything that you heard today, we can obviously talk to you more in depth at your premises. But what we do is we also want to identify what you want to do in your business and what areas you want to improve. And we'll find the correlating Office 365 tools that make sense, that you can just leverage without having to spend more on third-party software. You can immediately just jump in, tell us, hey, we want to have a look at automation, and we'll talk to you about all the different forms of automation that are available. You can say, I want to streamline my vendor management. We'll introduce you to the Vendify. If you want to onboard employees and make sure they get the right training, you can make sure that they have a great onboarding experience, we can showcase how Office 365 can do that for you pretty much out the box. So yeah, Blue Sky events are where you talk about how you want to take your business forward, and we show you what's available on the Office 365 platform. So go ahead, scan that, we can book that, and we can get chatting. And if you enjoyed this event, I hinted to it earlier, we've got the locking down for the holidays that we'll be doing next week. We'll be taking a look at all of our pre-festive season's security checklists. So 90% of all attacks happen whilst you're not at your desk. Attackers either do this at late in the evenings or when there's holidays, so no one can see the alerts and no one responds to the alerts, so they have time to get in. So one of the biggest things that we want to make sure is have we checked all our vulnerabilities? Have we scanned everything? Have we locked down any critical systems? Have we done our pre-leave security audit checklist so we know everyone's going on leave? Can they complete the following? We'll talk about the biggest 5 security gaps during holiday. We're going to be creating some urgency for you and your staff in terms of actions. And again, we'll have a live Q&A. So if you want to register for that next week, you can do so here. And happy to take any other questions. Tumi, I saw there was a bunch of questions about the lack of music at the beginning of the webinar.
I did volunteer to sing.
How far? Please don't complain about the music.
I will do my best. So, we have spoken quite a lot about how this is going to help us out with the governance. But I was just wondering, in terms of governance, like even when people think that they're getting on track, like where are we seeing the most critical gaps that people are missing in their organization when it comes to governance?
Okay, so are you referring to the SharePoint Admin Agent?
I am.
All right. So the SharePoint Admin Agent was created simply because, and you'll probably know a client or two, where all of their content is sitting on the tenant and it is unused, duplicated, historic 7,085,000 versions and kept in quintuplet across the environment. Might take up 17 terabytes. This is SharePoint Admin Agent. The whole idea behind it is not for that to happen. And so even with our environment, when I'm looking for something, I'll do a search and I'll find maybe 2 contracts, the old one and the new one. This is going to kind of pick that up. And what I found was over the years, we don't think about it until either we run out of space or we have to search for something and we're finding the wrong thing and have to go through 2 or 3 pages of search to get to the right thing. The beautiful part about this SharePoint Admin Agent is once it starts running, it has a little bit of AI where it understands the age of the item, but that AI is also plugged in to the graph. So it understands when it was added, who touched it last, how many times it gets, activity a month. And so it's going to be able to be quite smart when it comes to that site and say, look, this is still used by these people. So it's quite an active site and the documents around you are probably then necessary. So even though those documents haven't been used, this site is quite active. So I would assume that they would be used at some point or another. And so it's not going to just be spamming you going, this is inactive, this isn't been used, what do you want to do? It's going to have a lot more intelligence around it. Secondly is once you figure that out, you can set up automated routines. The current state of affairs is if a site is inactive for 6 months, deactivate it, archive it, and send it away. This we can add a little bit more flexibility to it. So obviously it's all audited, it's all on Office 365, so everything is done there. And we can say, don't deactivate it, notify X, Y, and Z, because we can use anything here. We can customize how we want to do this in Power Automate. Notify these guys that this is going to happen. Let them approve it once it's done. And so that kind of changes it quite a bit from being an admin tool where the admin goes, yeah, I don't care, I'm sending everything away, to the teams being notified, hey, this is what's going to happen. If you don't respond, we're going to, adios it, but it will still be recoverable. We're putting it here. It's going to give us a lot of flexibility. And because it's happening continuously and not something that we need to do just because we run out of space or there's been an incident, I think it will fall into day-to-day management.
That sounds a million times better.
Yeah, I do think so. And it's also part of the platform, so there's no cost associated to it. So you know how many times we've tried to sell the tools that do this now, and to get that kind of nod is incredibly difficult, even though we know that the tool will give return of investment because you're going to spend weeks or months or years with us fixing it later. Now it comes built in. So from our point of view, we can help our customers immediately on that. We can be like, let's just switch it on. And we'll manage the alerts for now until we kind of get it under control. And then we can pass it, we can hand it over. But it's definitely, from a risk detection point of view, to see if people are oversharing, that for me is number one, straight away.
100%.
What else? This is actually more important than I thought it was going to be, because it also can monitor additional agents. So you can plug on additional third-party agents here. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then you know how many items we've looked at here, from Enforcer to SIP to everything else.
Yeah.
Now it's 100%
It's all part of Microsoft.
So
people always feel better when
yeah,
they know it's all part of the same platform.
and it's free, right?
But also, like, a lot of clients, especially international ones, have a lot of concerns around where their data is located. And when they're using a tool that's already built into where their data lives, nothing gets better than that.
Exactly. So the simulation mode is also cool. So you go, cool, I want to deploy this. What does it look like? And so we saw the other products had that, but this being available just out the box, it's awesome, right?
Right.
Cool. To me.
It's too late for the music now, Jimmy.
Yeah. Oh, unfortunately, I was raising my hand to say, I don't know if I can ask the question considering I am an organizer, but I am curious because you mentioned something about oversharing. Is it possible for these agents to go rogue? Like, how safe is it, like, with people's data? Just now the agent does its own thing and there's like a robot uprising of AI agents of some sort. So
I mean, we've all watched some type of AI uprising from iRobot to Terminator. So is it possible? 100%. When it's not if it will happen, it's when it will happen. There's a podcast that I listen to. It's called Smashing Security. They've got great real life stories of what goes wrong. Anyway, people can manipulate AI agents and AI as much as hack them. And so the point is, if you own an AI agent and you've got it in this this new registry, the access control, that's the big kind of differentiator. You can say, look, you've got access to this and this only. Right now, any third-party agent that you plug into your system, you can't lock that down. Like, you've given it access, that's what access it has. And so if it does go rogue, it could essentially exfiltrate data, it could extort you, it could do a bunch of different things. I mean, just let's not get to the point where you have to ask the question. if you have it in the registry and you put specific controls around what it can access, then you just, you avoid that awkward kind of conversation where you said, oh, just that's it, allow global admin access, and you just went allow. And use your login to do everything. Yes, go. I mean, anything bad could happen after that, and you just have no control over it. So if you can give it integration, and you say this is what you're allowed, this is what you're not allowed, and be able to monitor that from beginning to end. And even when we deploy agents for clients, we want to showcase this. We want to say this is where it's controlled. This is who's going to be using it. These are the stats around it. This is exactly what it did. It read this document. It said this at this time to this person. Yeah, but doesn't it make your life a little bit easier when the robot uprising happens? All good?
Awesome, thank you.
Did everyone enjoy the slideshow?
Oh, that was really awesome. Thanks, Brad.
Pleasure, guys. We'll be doing the locking down. This is also for us next week. All the bits and pieces that we have to do. Because remember, we're getting our certifications around our environment as well. And so please be here. Please take a little moment out of your day to enjoy. Anything else?
I'll be there.
All good?
Nothing else I can think of.
Right. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Hope you learned something.
Definitely.
Cool. Then I'll
See you, everyone.
See you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.